You're not who you think you are. Welcome back to Reconnect to Fire, and I'm Jo, Wealth, Identity and Leadership for women in business and entrepreneurs. And I want to speak to you today all about this subject because it's a massive block for most people when they're expanding their wealth, their joy, their family, their business, whatever it is. We always want more. And that's right, we should do. That's what we're here for. But most of the time, we hit blocks, we hit fears, we hit doubts, we let the thoughts in our mind actually keep us in that box, don't we? We become fearful. We don't show up for our business. We don't show up for our partners the way that we would love to. We don't feel we can speak our truth in the way that would actually have resolved the issue in the first place. But it often comes down to the subconscious mind, where the beliefs, the conditions, the patterns, the behaviours of your everyday life are kept. And all through the videos that I've done and the podcasts and the coaching, the mentoring, it will come down to this simple fact of the self-awareness you have about yourself and who you truly believe you are. But the reality is, you're not who you believe you are at the moment, who you think you are, what you think about yourself. You're far better. You're far more in alignment than you actually believe you are. And if you shifted those beliefs, what would happen? So ask yourself now, who are you? What do you believe about yourself? What's ruling your life? Are you trusting your decisions right now? Are you leading your own business, your own life? Are you the leadership, or are you just going along with the herd? Are you being brought into other people's leadership? Are you allowing them to lead you? And when you start quizzing yourself a little bit more and getting an idea of, well, maybe I'm not the leader I felt I was. Maybe I'm getting diverted and distracted and I'm being taken off course. Then that's the opportunity that you've got then to get yourself back on to where you want to go. You are the master in where you go in life. And when your self-awareness expands and expands, you'll fully comprehend and understand that actually you can't actually blame anyone or anything outside of you for where you are today and the results that you've got, apart from not going in and beating yourself up and blaming yourself, but taking the higher view in saying, oh, if that's the case and I control my life, my actions, my outcomes, my joy, my happiness, or my destruction and my sadness, then how do I today take that control back? How do I step back into that position of the leader that I am? And that's the question you need to be asking yourself every morning, as soon as you wake up. The part of your brain that has to process tens of thousands of images from the moment that you open your eyes in the morning is going to dictate the rest of your day, your week, your month, by filtering your beliefs in what you believe about yourself, your world, your family, your friends, your work, whatever it is. You hold beliefs, and your mind is going to filter those to prove your beliefs are right. And that is happening throughout your day. So the very, very first thing in the morning is to ask yourself, what is it I want to achieve today? Where do I want to go today? Who do I want to show up in my world today? And if you can answer those questions, you're giving your mind the actual instructions for the direction that you want to take. In business, it's messy. And if you're doing the self-awareness work, if you're expanding and growing, then your business is going to reflect that back. It's going to be a lot more money coming in, a lot more clients suddenly showing up. You'll trust yourself more, your confidence grows, you'll take bolder risks, you'll step into the unknown with a lot more ease and no more fear. But every level that you go up, you'll be given the whole set of this again. It's almost like a game. You get a little bit fed up with it in the end because you know what's coming, that you felt you got over those beliefs and those hurdles, and again, they start to show up. But every time you expand, you have to shed an old identity that you created in your previous years that kept you feeling safe, that kept you feeling alive. No matter where you're heading, you're always going to butter up against these beliefs unless you stay frozen in fear or so comfortable that you're not even willing to expand. But you wouldn't even be watching this video because your energy, your soul wouldn't be called to this video if you weren't one of those. So what I want you to do is watch my previous video because it's going to explain exactly what it is to feel messy, to feel everything you're doing. You'll keep changing your mind, the direction, you're wasting the money, the time and the effort in growing your business. But in actual fact, it's the very steps that you needed to take to build the self-trust, the self-worth, to then get to the next level. So that's all explained in the previous video. But today's video is more about is the belief system. Because we talk about limiting beliefs, but if we don't know what our limiting beliefs are, how can we change? How can we stop our behaviours repeating the same outcomes day in? Why are we hitting the same amount of money we earn every month, no matter what we do differently or how we try to embody different versions of ourselves and nothing changes? That's the frustration women come across so often. And they come to me and they say, well, it doesn't matter what I do, nothing's changing. But when we break it down, when we actually look at what they have tried, are they truly going into the self-awareness as deep as they could do? And that is often no. And they don't even understand the awareness is the problem because they felt they knew who they were through their conscious mind. But the real depth of who we have believed and who we think we are and the stories we told ourselves is actually held in our deep subconscious mind. And it doesn't come up and tell you immediately. I wish it did. It shows up in how you turn up, in how you behave, and how you expand or you don't, or how visible you feel comfortable or confident in, or how you want to express yourself. It's the way that we do things daily. And if we're not changing them, we're accepting them. And if we accept what we've got now, you're stagnant because your energy, we know that. We are a soul having a human experience. We are all divinely connected to source, to God, whatever you want to call it, to a divine intelligence that's outside of us but is actually part of us. And when we're constantly trying to hustle and push and force this world that we can see with the five senses of our human, we often hit the walls and become agitated, upset, angry, and we give in because we're constantly pushing and we're not getting the results as quick as we want, or we're just not seeing the world change around us. But when you come home to who you truly are, when you connect back to your soul and you go inwards, you understand the biggest changes come from actually within. And they need to come from within before you actually see them on the outside world. But none of us have been shown or taught that. We've been, well, you've got to see it to believe it. That's the biggest lie we've ever been sold. You've got to believe it before you see it. You've got to feel and embody the version that holds that wealth, that power, that leadership, that level of self-trust. And you've got to embody it and use it daily, even before you see an ounce of proof here in this 3D world. But nobody really goes into this work in the depth, and they manifest here with a few beliefs, a few visualizations, a few affirmations. They do a vision board. Now, all of these things work if they're combined and they're brought together whilst doing the deeper identity work, the embodiment. We are body, we are a mind, and we are a soul, but we need to work with our soul first. We need to work and go inwards. The minute we wake up in the morning, we need to go back inwards and start setting up the day as if you are picking out clothes for the day. I literally pick out my thoughts and my desires as soon as I wake up. I wake up and I then gently close my eyes and I visualize what's going to happen today and how I prefer it to happen. I don't let the world tell me. I'm the creator. I create my world. It doesn't mean it goes absolutely spot on, but it does mean I don't react to it. I don't get upset when someone cuts me up in the car anymore, which leaves me in a feeling of anger and despair that then infiltrates on whoever I bump into next or makes me feel worse for the day. I don't react to that because that's just an old version of me. That isn't the reality. But when I create the reality I choose, and I keep practicing this by just visualizing, use the most powerful tool you've got. It is your mind. You'll daydream, but you don't do it long enough to create what you want. And we can daydream all day. But if we don't action and embody the daydream, that's how it stays a dream. So visualization is slightly different. You're taking conscious awareness of what it is you desire and exactly what you desire. So if I've got a meeting in the morning and I've got clients in the afternoon, I will visualize that meeting, me driving there, the traffic's beautiful, I've got my music on, I visualize myself feeling calm and at ease. So even if I do hit traffic, I'm not getting angry, I'm actually looking at it at a completely different angle and saying, okay, I've got time to reflect here a bit more. And maybe I can notice what's going on around me rather than getting stressed out of the cars parked in front of me on the road. But I visualise the meeting going as I want it to go. Yes, that's exactly how it ends up. I don't have days now where I go, oh my gosh, what happened there? That was a disaster. And I'm feeling that I've got to control everybody around me to make myself feel better. They don't exist anymore. That life's gone. That version of me's disappeared. I've got that precise moment to choose how I feel, how I show up, what the outcome is going to be. And so can you do this. The work is beautiful. It's aligning your soul. It's asking your soul what you need and letting your 5 senses of your human not be so reactive, not take on the world and all its problems, not feel everybody else's ideas that they're trying to put onto you. You don't react to them, and actually you start only listening to the people that are where you want to go. We're very good at humans of just copying the next person because it's easier. We don't have to think about it or we don't have to put the effort in. And that's where the comparisons and that's where jealousy and that's where we see other people doing better than ourselves. And so we knock ourselves off our own pedestal as such and we don't believe in ourselves. So then we don't take the actions and we don't show up as we could. And our confidence goes. But what if you could change that every day? What if you could take the power back? And as soon as you wake up, you just gently close your eyes, you take a few deep breaths, go inward and start visualizing. Do it for 2 minutes in the day and tell me that you don't get different results each day. And when you notice things going wrong, this time, try not to give it the reaction that you normally would go at. Try to give it a 2 to 3 second gap of complete awareness, not reactive, awareness. These are the things that bring you back to who you are, not the version that you feel that you have to be or should be or what other people's expectations of you to be. That's not what you are or who you are. It's what you've been conditioned and what you believe you have to be, but no. And notice your business more. Where is it in areas that aren't growing? Because there'd be a direct reflection where you aren't allowing your business to grow. So maybe it's the visibility. Maybe you don't feel you want to be out more, showing yourself, speaking about your company. And those areas your business will halt because you're not actively out there. So if you've been fortunate enough to read a book, you know that you would have to write a book to become an author. So when you read somebody's life story, it's amazing. But the author just didn't write the book and put it on the shelf. They've gone out. They've made the effort, whether it's Amazon, but they've gone out and they've had to talk about the book. They've got to be visible to show up to sell the product. And 9 times out of 10, if you're in the coaching industry or the mentoring or the teaching, you are the product itself. So you have to be out there doing more things. But if you're not feeling confident or you don't even know where to start, that's why the business doesn't grow. That's why the money doesn't come in. And that's where the fear takes over. So ask yourself, where am I not walking comfortably? Where do I need to expand? But ask yourself this. As a woman, we're really good at not asking for help and getting the support that we rightfully deserve. And if we don't ask for the support, we won't get it. And if we don't get the support, the universe will agree with you and not allow you to have that. even as a thought. You'll just keep struggling. But what I've noticed, even with myself, the minute I allowed support in, and the minute I started paying for the extra support for my business, actually, the business started earning more money, which then allowed me to expand that help, that support, even within the house and the garden. So actually, I'm doing less of what I believed I always had to do, and the business is bringing more money in to pay for the more help. Well, that's the growth that you want. But you've got to trust and make a decision today to say, if I'm really worth it, if I'm really this successful business owner, which I am, what help and support would she have? And dare yourself to take one of those on, even if it expands your fears of not having enough money or lack of money coming in. Make room for it, because this is why any business grows. They don't do it from having buckets of cash, being able to throw it into the business. They're constantly doing it from not having it. That's how a business grows. And once you try this, as I did, it's now, why didn't I do this years ago? Why didn't anyone explain this to me? So you too have the capacity and you have the availability to actually expand your business, to step out and get the help that you need. Everybody needs support and deserves to have help. And a business does not grow on your own. And no matter how hard you try, you will be fighting every moment if you believe that you can do it all on your own. It will never get to the imaginative state that you dream it can be. So make sure that you go out and ask for help. And literally start asking, who am I? Who do I want to become? And what is my next step? Business is a blessing, but it's also a huge mirror to where we're not growing. So the more self-worth and the more self-love you give yourself, the more self-love your business gets, the more love it expands. Whatever you love expands. So you've got to love yourself to see it reflected back to you. So when you have moments in business as well that become stagnant and dull, it's just a reflection you're not giving yourself space and time. You're not giving yourself the self-love. Take the time off. Recharge your batteries. Don't sit at a desk 15 hours a day. That's not what you've created your business for, and it's not what it's designed for. So if anything intrigues you and you'd like to know more, my 6-month mentoring program, Reconnect Your Fire, is exactly for those women who are ready to expand into the next level, who are open to new ideas, new wealth, new embodiment ideas, to actually feel safe to hold that new expansion instead of staying tight, restricted, and frozen where you are. And if you're interested, DM me, but don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button so you don't miss out on any of these episodes, because every time you listen, you are literally growing in all areas of your life. So with much love and kindness and gratitude, enjoy